Alright, y'all, welcome back once again to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the mythical island of Friesland. And here we are. We did touch on this in a previous video briefly on the map of the North Pole. And here are two depictions of Friesland. You can see a lot going on. And I did find this in another old map from raremaps.com, as you see here. And here you can see Friesland is depicted almost underwater, kind of exactly where it would have been had it not sunk. But it seems like it did sink at some point, or is just lost to history. So we're going to kind of dive into this. And here's another map showing Friesland, and you can see it's south of Iceland, south of Greenland, but a little bit to the left of Ireland. And here is a picture kind of comparing the underwater Rockall and Helen's Reef with what Friesland appears with on these maps. And it's often depicted in glory at the top left of some of these maps in heavy detail. So here's what the ocean looks like today, kind of zooming in on where Friesland would have been had it still be standing. And this is the 1390 Xeno map showing Friesland with a lot going on. Now, this map was released hundreds of years later, but it still is an intriguing map. And with this Xeno map, you can see they accurately depicted Greenland, so they weren't just making shit up. And now this is what Rockall looks like today. It's just a big rock, so it's exactly where Friesland would have been, but all that's left is just the top of what would have been a mountain. Now we can see that this is another depiction of Friesland. And there's a mountain range, there's some islands. It's kind of in the shape of a triangle. So now some people think that it might just be Newfoundland or a different depiction of Iceland, but they're often depicted together side by side on the same map. And here you see another Friesland to the south of Iceland, to the left of the Faroe Islands. With lots of cities and castles too, mind you. Here's another very glorified depiction of Friesland with lots going on. A lot of detail, so I don't know, it does raise the question that if this was just a phantom island, then why would you go into so much detail? Why would there be so many cities? And you see Queen Elizabeth Foreland at the top. But here's Friesland, another map showing Friesland. And yeah, it's to the right of Drogeo, south of Iceland. And this is that map. I made a video on this map before, but here is Friesland. I got to view this map in person, and Friesland is the first thing you see. And here you can kind of see some similarities. So now some people think that it might just be remnants of old maps, but it raises the question of when was this map made, and when was the last rise of the sea level by about 10 meters? Because if we've got an accurate map of it, it raises questions. So here's what it looks like today. Here's what it looked like a couple hundred years ago. People just kind of poking around. There's ships in the background and seagulls and shit. Here's what it looks like in modern times. Lots of seagull poop and yeah, just a big old rock. Nothing too crazy, but maybe. And so here's another lost island called Zanara. Kind of touch on that a little bit later. And here's another phantom island called the Filippo Island in Lake Superior. It was mentioned in the Treaty of Paris, I believe, or the French treaty with America. So that one's gone too. And here's another map showing Grockland, which some believe could just be a mispronunciation of Greenland, and they got mistaken. Not too much detail here. Right, what's up, everybody? We're going to be looking at some so-called phantom islands, and I kind of stumbled across this by looking at some of these old maps, and it's kind of over here by Ireland. So there's sometimes an island called Brazil, or High Brazil, as it's called, and Rockall is depicted here, which we will be getting into. Now, also over here we have 1613 is detected of this little tiny island, and then Bus Island over here. And let's just go in a little bit. So you can see they kind of started drawing it and then they stopped. But now Hy Brasil is a mythical island supposedly off the coast of Ireland. It comes from the descendants of the Rockall, which is one of the ancient clans. J.R.R. Tolkien also wrote on fairy tales that he has likened both of them together. Now, I did view this map in person, and I think you guys saw that video, one of my more popular videos. And right away I zoom in on this upper portion here called Friesland. Now, Friesland is supposedly a fake island, a phantom island as they will call it, over here. They call it a phantom island, although it appears on many old maps from the time. It's sometimes referred to as Fixland. But yeah, so pretty commonly accepted as a fake island, although the Xeno map from the 1300s kind of shows otherwise, as it's very detailed and like it's not really something you would think of depicting in such great detail if it was just a fake island like that. And I found this blog, which was super interesting, where this dude goes through from the 1300 Xeno map and kind of compares how like accurate they depicted Greenland, right? So this is a pretty accurate depiction of Greenland from the 1300s, Xeno brothers. And so it would be weird to have such an oddity like Friesland being on it, which is right here. Now, interesting thing is you can kind of see on some of these topographical maps as there is some type of like underwater element going on. He kind of breaks into this like whole maybe like the expanding Atlantic theory, but I'm not really gonna be talking about that too much, like this like plate tectonics and shit. So Rockall is right here, and it's kind of right where Friesland would have been depicted, and now all of Rockall that's left is just a big rock. But there's some oddities around it, so we're going to kind of dive into that. And you can kind of see this is what Helen's Reef and Rockall looks like underneath the surface, or underneath the water. And this is what the map looks like, so kind of similar. And so it's maybe just an interesting lost island that used to be in our history. I will try to link some of these documents below. But yeah, so Friesland history, pretty short on Wikipedia. We're going to go into some other phantom islands here. So this is just the general idea of what a phantom island is. And we have all of these. So I opened up some of the more interesting ones that I found. Bus Island, which we referenced earlier. It's kind of south of Greenland. We've got Elizabeth Island, which was supposedly around Cape Horn of South America that Sir Francis Drake wrote about and then was never seen again. So maybe an error by dude. Jupiter Reef, supposed to be in the middle of the ocean here, but nobody's ever been able to find that again. I thought it was a pretty cool name. This Isle of Philip, the Philippines, is seen here in the middle of Lake Superior and then disappears. It's actually mentioned in the Treaty of Paris, which is kind of interesting because if it was a fake island, why would you mention it in a treaty or anything at all, or even on a map? So this one's Rupes Nigra, which is depicted as the center of the North Pole on that Mercator projection map that I showed. And it's sometimes a volcano, and 33 mile wide black rock, which is an interesting number, 33 French miles. And in the midst of the four countries is a whirlpool into which the empty four indrawing seas, which divide the north, and the waters rush round and descend into the earth just as if it pouring into a filter funnel. It is 4 degrees wide on every side of the pole, that is to say 8 degrees altogether, except that right underneath the pole there lies bare rock in the midst of the sea, circumferenced by almost 33 French miles, and is all of magnetic stone. So, kind of weird. So that's an interesting one. Thompson Island is supposed to be in the middle of the ocean, and it appears on maps as late as World War II. Let's see. Oops, that's me. Oops, that's me bigger. So now this is Thule, or Teal, which is kind of weird. It's actually mentioned in by Plato. I believe it's the northernmost location in ancient Greek and Roman literature. Some people think it was Ireland, which this one dude, he argues that it was Ireland. Another hypothesis is that it's the island of Samada, which I've never even heard of in Estonia, so maybe we'll look into that a little later. And then, yeah, I found some Reddit threads. I'm talking about showing this Isle of Zanara. And then this is Rockall, right? So this is all that's left of Friesland now, as you can see. So this might have been a whole island here. And now it's just a rock. So the claim to it is the UK, but it's technically in Scotland. And you can kind of see from here just some of the ridgeways. So this is Iceland, and this is the Rockall Plateau. So if this was above water, maybe 500, 600 years ago or whatever, it would have been an island. It's only about 10 meters, right, below sea level. So not too crazy to think that it might, hold on, let's try to open this up again. Escape from that. There is some unusual stuff going on Rockall. Let's see if I can find what I was referencing. So fairly recently, look at this. So during Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee celebrations in June 2022, so not even happening yet, a team of 2 explorers intend to live on Rockall for 1 week to raise $1 million in charity. Kind of weird. Live on the rock to raise money for Children's Hospital for the Royal Navy charity. The trip is being supported by a world record, stuff like that. So it's like, what is the Queen's obsession with this random rock in the middle of the ocean? Unless it is the remnants of the last remnants of a civilization. It'd be kind of cool. So this is a nautical chart. Okay, moving on. Helen's Reef. So it's pretty close to Helen's Reef. Which is basically just Rockall. Let's keep going. I hate how it keeps going backwards like that. But, so then this guy on Reddit says, when could the fictional island of Friesland, which was the lordship of the British monarch, own its own parliament and successfully become an independent kingdom in 1580 from Denmark onward? So it's kind of weird. And so the Zeno brothers are the ones who are responsible for this map in the 1300s, which depicted Friesland, but it wasn't published until 15 or 1700s. But they show Friesland, they show Estoydeland, which is another phantom island, and I think Palladia is also. So kind of weird. I'm not really sure what to make of it, but I'm gonna keep moving. So this is a reference to Beowulf, talking about the Frisians. Because it's mentioned in Beowulf about the Frisians, but it could also be a reference to somewhere in Norway. So yeah, this is a picture I found of these 2 guards on Rockall with this weird cylindrical entrance at the top. Couldn't really find any more information on this picture, but yeah, Royal Marines, a guard in Rockall for some reason. So yeah, the Queen's obsession with Rockall just kind of baffled me. You can see kind of what it looks like. Wonder what's underneath the hatch, but there you go. So then this got me thinking about the Faroe Islands, which are north of Ireland, like up here, and this like Egyptian connection. because the word pharaoh is very phonetically similar. So, and then this guy has an idea about the Faroe Islands, which are the same Faroe Islands 3,500 years ago. And yeah, just a weird theory that this is a pyramid, and yeah, that Egyptian pilgrims would come up there to like worship this pyramid or something. 2,000-year-old text by Greek philosopher Plutarch, which describes an island similar to the Faroes. Oh yeah, so this is what Mount Kivri of the Faroe Islands looks like. So it does kind of look like a pyramid to me. So let me know what you guys think. I know that there is a connection to the Egyptians in Ireland because there's Scotia's grave, which is in Scotland, which is the grave of Scotia, mythological daughters of Egyptian pharaohs in Irish mythology and Scottish mythology and pseudo-history. So who said that they were an ancestor of the Gaels and traced their ancestry to the Irish. And so there's Scotia's grave, which is right here, and which is not far away from the Faroe Islands, as the Faroe Islands are like just north. So, thought that was weird. According to medieval Irish mythology, Scotia was the wife of the farmer. So they had 6 sons. She was killed in battle. He was killed by legendary thru of the Mish Mountains. Okay. Weird. So then I kept looking, and then I looked into these guys, right? Supernatural race in Irish mythology. Main deities in Gaelic Ireland. Okay, that's kind of weird. So then I looked up Scotia's grave, and sure enough, here it is. Pretty unremarkable in terms of like actual pictures, but you can see some old rock work. And then I saw this. So this is Queen Scotia, I guess. Scotia's grave. Good stuff. And then I found out about this, which is New Grange, which is in Ireland, weird burial mound. Right? Thought that was kind of weird. And it had these like circular patterns on there. Okay, kind of weird. Queen Scotia's grave in Gatti, Ireland. So this dude walking, this princess. Let's see if I have the picture still. Please, please, please. Yes. So then I found this Carthaelian, which is an ancient church, and there are these like weird symbols on this this earthwork, and it right away reminded me of Göbekli Tepe, but in relation to Egypt, it made me think. So yeah, here's a better picture. It made me think of. Well, anyways, this is this like circular device, and it looked just like that, maybe with only one notch less. So just thought that was kind of perplexing, worth note. Yeah, here we go. So you can kind of see, and they don't really know what this is for, but this is in ancient Egypt. So yeah, just kind of talking about Friesland and some of the oddities about it. I thought this was interesting. This is Lake Purdue, and they mention how they were studying planaria. And this is kind of off topic, but planaria are these like decapitated worms that like regenerate and can duplicate if they're cut in half. And this is out in Antarctica, so just thought that was kind of weird. So yeah, that's Antarctica at the bottom, and this is Lake Purdue. So kind of weird that these like self-replicating worms can only be found here. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.